Why would Nvidia want to put money into you? How are you helping the GPU story?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Well, we're helping companies get access to this great open source models, and we're building this purpose-built inference cloud. So it's really you need to build a specialized infrastructure to do inference efficiently, and it really helps everyone access this great open source AI models really well. And I mean that's why Nvidia was excited to participate in our round.
We were just hearing that Cerebras, which also wants to speed up AI inference offerings, is going to be tapping the public markets. It sees itself as an Nvidia competitor. How, Nikola, are you more of an adjacent to the Nvidia story? How are you looking to help deploy GPUs? Why is your compute different? We've tried a number of different inference accelerators, but we believe like NVIDIA's hardware is still the most efficient, the best to do inference at. And we're just doubling down on that kind of hardware platform. And we like working closely with the teams at NVIDIA on just making inference more efficient. Lowering the price per token is what we really like to focus on. And so that's kind of our path. There would be a lot of demand for inference down the line. Like, we think that 80% of the compute is going to go towards inference. But at the moment, we've invested heavily into the NVIDIA hardware stack. What's interesting is you're already processing, 5 trillion tokens per week. How do you get the efficiencies? How do you drive down the cost per token?
It's a lot of hard work, and we look at it through the whole stack of like where we build this kind of inference clusters, which data centers we go in, how we structure them, and then a lot on the software on top of it. We believe like one of the key things is to have very good caching of tokens. As these agents kind of interact with the AI models, they basically make many requests in a loop with roughly the same context. So like, I think KV caches are really key to efficiency of inference. And we've been doing this for about 4 years. We saw the demand for inference coming, and we really focused on like how do we build a purpose-built inference cloud.
And I think, therefore, you are scaling out. You're operating out of 8 data centers, I think it is already. With this new money, 100 million, more than, where do you deploy that?
We will use the capital from this fundraise to scale our platform. We will deploy more of the latest NVIDIA chips and then scale our inference platform across the US. But also we're looking to expand in Europe and Asia later this year.
Samsung, also part of the strategic investors. It's not just GPUs from NVIDIA one needs. You need an awful lot of the high bandwidth memory. We know about memory costs soaring because of the AI demand. Is that why Samsung comes forward? How are you thinking about the supply chain headaches or not that you might face?
Yeah, in the last since the beginning of the year, it's been like struggle to find some of the chips that we need for our inference clusters. Memory and disks have been an issue, and so it's important for us to have, in our corner, good investors that are helping us, including Supermicro and Samsung and NVIDIA, to make sure we have the right supply and we don't struggle as much. But the chip shortages are pretty real, and I feel like, inference needs like 1 million times more compute than like traditional computing. And so we would see more and more demand for chips, including CPUs, GPUs, memory.